Welcome back. Word has just come down that Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways. We thank him for his service to the network and host of the prior contributor. Wave.
Like, he used him as his puppet, and it exposed what many of us have been saying about Tucker Carlson. He's a Kremlin puppet who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
It's just such a disgrace, I think, to our country that an American would give him any kind of platform to propagandize.
Wait. If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
Big Sonny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly.
Didn't just dip a toe into the media meltdown pool, he cannonballed and cracked the tiles, and drained the water. What started as Tucker Carlson launching a $100 million defamation lawsuit against The View escalated into a full-blown media circus with Rogan marching straight into the center ring. Microphone in one hand and a flaming copy of the Constitution in the other. And if Whoopi Goldberg thought she could simply shrug, sip coffee, and issue vague declarations of moral authority without consequence, she was in for a rude, viral awakening. Rogan, ever the chaos connoisseur, didn't just criticize, he incinerated, as Whoopi clutched her pearls and tried to staple together her credibility. The internet ignited into a frenzy of GIFs, memes, and digital gallows humor. What did Rogan actually say? Why is Whoopi Goldberg now trending for all the wrong reasons? And how did this caffeine-fueled talk show spat turn into a scorched earth courtroom saga? Strap in. This isn't just daytime drama, it's a dark comedy, with legal overtones, ego warfare, and enough public meltdowns to fuel a Netflix docuseries. Next.
They're disgusting. She's Anna Navarro. In your wildest imagination, you could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate in whatever space.
The View, that magical realm where political analysis, personal grievances, and performative outrage swirl together in a glittering cauldron of chaos. Every morning, America's most theatrical coffee clutch transforms its studio into a judgment hall, where smug declarations are served hotter than the lattes. The panelists, cloaked in virtue signaling and wrapped in daytime glam, gather like modern-day priestesses of televised righteousness. At the helm stands Whoopi Goldberg, actress, activist, and now part-time legal theorist with the nuance of a YouTube comment section. Once adored for her role in Sister Act, now infamous for riding the lightning of scandal like a theme park ride. Whoopi has evolved into something stranger, an oracle of outrage, with a warped moral compass and a limitless platform. If Plato binge-watched daytime TV during a fever dream, this is what he'd hallucinate: a circle of self-important sages misquoting laws, misrepresenting facts, and doing it all with the theatrical flair of a high school debate team on redbull.net.
Whoopi Goldberg said?
what'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it, because it's so
on TV.
crazy.
She said it's
on television.
You know, just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw
The supposed discussion that triggered this chain reaction was intended to be a tepid, hot take buffet on Tucker Carlson's latest commentary topics, ranging from the southern border to Ukraine to, presumably, the secret location of Elvis and the aliens. But before anyone could mention foreign policy, the panel dissolved into a chorus of shrieking hypotheticals. Within seconds, the energy shifted from talk show banter to code red tribunal. Whoopi led the charge like a warrior queen of cable news, denouncing Carlson not merely as misinformed, but as a full-blown national security threat. DEFCON 1. Bring in the sirens. Carlson wasn't just expressing views, he was, according to Whoopi's psychic legal analysis, committing moral treason. Never mind the actual legal definitions, this was The View's new jurisprudence. If your tone offends, Your rights are suspended. Somewhere, James Madison rolled over in his grave and changed the channel.
If I may, I'm amazed at the level of self-projection going on here. I mean, Alicia, you work for ABC. Tucker works for himself. Objectively, you are a puppet and he's not. And Sonny, you're basically saying that Tucker shouldn't be allowed to have a voice. That's the opposite of the democracy that you preach every time we're here. And finally, none of you had any examples on what Tucker has said that was a lie or propaganda. But I'm too nice, so I will give you another chance. Give me some specific examples to back your claims. Let's go.
Be outshined in the theater of moral panic. Joy Behar swooped in like a caffeinated magistrate with lipstick and fury. She dubbed Carlson dangerous, with the breathless energy of someone auditioning for a true crime podcast. Her reasoning, unclear, but with the same certainty as a wine mom quoting Oprah, she made her position loud and meme. Then came Sunny Hostin, swinging the metaphorical gavel with the confidence of someone who once skimmed a legal blog while waiting for her latte. What should have been a balanced panel became a frenzied kangaroo court, dizzying mess of televised overreach where every sentence ended in a crescendo of judgment. The rule was simple. The more dramatic the accusation, the better. Forget evidence, forget nuance. The panel didn't debate, they delivered sentences. And amidst the caffeine highs and cable lighting, one thing became undeniable. Facts were no longer welcome guests in the View's studio.
Like the fans, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house. Like they're probably immobile.
Right. Because their mom's taking their kids to school and that's, yeah.
It's a very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just, it's interesting because I think Sunny's very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
That's sort of, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, are just very dull-minded.
Meanwhile, the digital world exploded. Twitter, ever the arena of instant judgment and microwave morality, descended into glorious chaos. Memes flooded timelines like a dam had burst. Whoopi's critics weaponized screenshots like trial exhibits, while defenders scrambled to construct arguments out of vibes and hashtags. Carlson supporters mobilized like a flash mob of paralegals, filing metaphorical lawsuits with every tweet. The sentiment was loud and sharp. Whoopi's tirade wasn't just wrong, it was possibly actionable. Her declarations about Carlson, unmoored from legal grounding, weren't just spicy, they were slanderous. Social media didn't just react, it litigated. Amateur lawyers sprang forth like weeds after rain, citing case law, invoking libel statutes, and declaring Whoopi guilty of defamation with more confidence than actual judges. And behind the scenes, Tucker's legal team, trained in the dark arts of media warfare, sharpened their legal knives with glee. This wasn't going to end with an apology, it was going to...
Question is then, is that representative of a big constituency? I think probably yes.
Well, a lot of
MSNBC viewers are probably also thinking,
I don't even think the MSNBC viewers, I think
that's
they're a
too
little
far.
bit more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
This is like low information, blue no matter who, like older housewives who are mad at the world. That's the appeal that Whoopi Goldberg has. Does Whoopi have children?
No idea.
It's interesting too, like really politically motivated older women who don't have children.
Yeah.
They're very specific. Like you can kind of guess the way they.
And the gloves came off. Carlson filed his $100 million defamation lawsuit, and suddenly, the temperature in the View's studio dropped below freezing. The complaint wasn't some performative stunt, it was a legal earthquake. It accused the show of weaponizing misinformation to destroy reputations, all while hiding behind the flimsy veil of opinion. And just when the situation couldn't get more surreal, Joe Rogan entered stage left like a barefoot prophet with a flame. On his podcast, Rogan tore into The View like it was amateur night at the Comedy Store. His take: that Whoopi and company couldn't argue their way out of a parking ticket, let alone a federal lawsuit. Rogan, dripping with sarcasm and sipping irony like bourbon, compared their legal reasoning to watching a group of toasters try to hack the Pentagon. His listeners howled. The internet roared. It wasn't just commentary, it was carnage. Carlson dropped the lawsuit, but Rogan turned it into entertainment gold. Next voice, the court filing wasn't just a legal document, it was a declaration of war. Carlson accused The View of waging a character assassination campaign masquerading as daytime dialogue. The accusations were brutal: intentional defamation, reckless disregard for truth, and malicious framing. And what's worse, the segments aired without disclaimers or retractions, delivered to millions of viewers with the same certainty one might reserve for announcing the weather. Behor spoke of Carlson like he was public enemy number one, while Whoopi's calls for criminal punishment echoed with the gravity of a courtroom sentence. They were delivered on a set with branded mugs and live studio applause. Carlson's team didn't mince words. This wasn't protected speech, it was televised execution, and someone had to pay. Gone was the veneer of harmless chatter. In its place, a case study in what happens when outrage outpaces responsibility.
Ladies try to deplatform me all the time. I think they should be deplatformed. I think the best way to counter bad opinions is with good.
And here's the rub. Carlson's team claims the damages aren't theoretical, they're real, tangible, and devastating. Threats, job consequences, reputational harm. It was all part of the fallout. And courts, notoriously allergic to daytime drama, want proof? And proof, Carlson's lawyers believe they have. Meanwhile, The View found itself straddling the line between satire and liability. Some media critics laughed Carlson off, calling him a snowflake with a lawsuit. Others, however, pointed out the obvious. When you label someone a criminal on national television without evidence, don't be shocked if you wind up in court. Rogan, smelling blood in the water, dove back in. He roasted Whoopi's legal knowledge with surgical cruelty, calling her understanding of law about as accurate as a toddler drawing the Supreme Court in crayon. His conclusion: The View isn't a talk show, it's a demolition derby where logic goes to die. Next.
The show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies infested hen house.
Then came the rarest of modern miracles: internet unity. Left, right, center people from every political aisle tuned in to watch Rogan demolish The View with the precision of a surgeon and the delight of a stand-up comic. On his podcast, amid tangents about aliens and protein supplements, Rogan unleashed a firestorm of criticism so sharp it left scorch marks. So now Whoopi's the oracle of justice. He mused, eyes wide with faux reverence. Apparently, the fate of democracy depends on whether she's had her oat milk latte. He went further, calling the show a cosplay convention for cable news Karens and warning that the erosion of speech protections isn't a joke, especially when the mob is led by millionaire pundits in makeup chairs. Rogan wasn't just clowning around. His point was clear: if this is how we treat speech on television, whose? Rogan's final blow came in a closing monologue so blistering it felt like satire wrapped in prophecy. With a straight face, he deadpanned, "Next week on The View, arrest Joe Rogan for having a beard and reading books." The internet exploded. His mimicry of Whoopi's scowl went viral in less than an hour. TikTokers reenacted it. Reddit crowned him meme of the week. Meanwhile, Whoopi attempted a response on air that can only be described as a dramatic reading of a shrug. It was word salad laced with vague indignation, padded by a confused smirk and sprinkled with something resembling an argument. But it didn't land. The internet, ruthless and unrelenting, dragged her response to the digital gallows. Ratings dipped, hashtags surged, and somewhere in a back room, ABC executives contemplated emergency PR strategies while quietly ordering stress muffins